What's going on, guys? We're getting a little bit of a recovery day here on Friday after this rough week we've had. Of course, we did get our rate cut from the Fed, which is good for risk on assets, but the negative is we're looking at possibly less rate cuts in 2025. That shook up the market. We're going to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum on the chart. Some levels to watch out for. And of course, with this massive drop, we saw a ton of liquidations. We saw $1.2 billion worth of liquidations in the crypto market as a whole. Bitcoin, for one, was at about $108,000 before dropping around 7% in a single day to 97,000. And yes, Bitcoin did test its 50 MA. We'll talk about its chart in a second. But Ethereum as well fell 12%, now trading at 3,400. XRP, a similar drop, down 11% to 222. Everyone that was looking at these while they were running and wondering, should I get in? These are the chances. These pullbacks, this is when you want to be looking at getting in, not when they're running, not when you're seeing bearish divergence on the daily, not when you're seeing an overbought RSI, not when you're seeing that we haven't tested the 50 MA in months and we're so far away from it. After seeing nothing but green, there will be red. These major corrections, when people are fearful, when suddenly people realize that crypto doesn't just go up, this is when you want to buy. Of course, the best time to buy is during crypto winter, and we're not getting those prices again. We don't have a time machine, so the best time to buy, next best time, is now. But long liquidations were about 1.07 billion. Single largest liquidation order was $16 million. Feel bad for that person. And also Binance saw $83 million in outflows, showing that exchanges were seeing some sell side pressure. Also, of course, XRP, a 10% drop. Cardano, 15%. These are the times to be buying. Meme coins, Shiba Inu and Bonk, 23 and 22% down. You buy on the big dips like this. And I don't even want to look at these comments. There's going to be so many people saying I told you so. But the funniest part is, where were they in 2022? Where were they in 2023? Where were they when Bitcoin was 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000? Those prices, mark my words, we're not seeing those prices again. I'm sorry, but we're just not. Ethereum under 1,000. Are we going to see that again? No. So the people saying I told you so, the people saying Tulip Mania, after a week of selling off, zoom out a bit and you'll see how much we have ran this cycle. And it will be stopped, guys. Many nations are going to start banning like China did. Do these people not know that spot ETFs are a thing? Do these people not know that Wall Street is in Bitcoin? It's not going anywhere. This just blows my mind. Like this fella right here. They produce no product. They pay no dividend. It's a sucker's game, folks. Suckers never win. Just use your common sense and don't buy this nonsense. Oh, Professor, I'm sorry for you. Let's look at this news. Of course, we're seeing some outflows from the spot ETFs. We saw some red. We saw record outflows. The record largest daily outflows of all time. Oh, but wait, we just snapped our 15-day positive flow streak. So we had a big record outflow day, but we saw 15 days in a row of inflows. Oh man, this is just horrible, isn't it? And on a day like that with record outflows, what did BlackRock's IBIT do? Well, they recorded 0 flows. They didn't see any outflows. Let me show you guys the big picture again. Yes, we saw some record outflows. There will be outflow days. There will be red days. Take advantage. We're still in a bull market. We're still in the bull cycle. Follow the cycle and you won't go wrong. US listed spot Bitcoin ETFs on the verge of surpassing the gold ETFs. It's been less than a year, and look at this. US spot Bitcoin ETFs currently have an assets under management of $120 billion compared to gold's $125 billion. As said by K33 Research, and as of December 17, Bitcoin ETFs have reached assets under management worth $129 billion, edging out the gold ETF asset under management of $128 billion. But of course, this likely changed because of Bitcoin sell-off. When comparing spot-based products exclusively, gold remains slightly ahead. We also have a new ETF coming that was just approved. The SEC approves Franklin Templeton and Hashdex with a dual Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. But the SEC finally approved yesterday this index ETF from both issuers. And Nate Gerasi, the president of ETF Store, speculates that other asset managers like BlackRock might also roll out a similar ETF that holds both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this product might witness significant demand, prompting other top managers to launch similar ones. We'll see about that. You know, with the spot ETH ETFs, we did see a lot of selling off. That's mainly due to grayscale, obviously. So this is kind of a different dynamic, but we'll see how it goes here with this. But the SEC also has another decision to make. There's an application with Grayscale's request to convert a digital large cap fund, or GDLC is the ticker, and it holds 5 cryptos in it. They want to convert that into an indexed ETF. And also, Bitwise has a 10 crypto fund, BITW. This contains a basket of cryptos such as XRP and Bitcoin into an exchange traded product. So what's the chart telling us for Bitcoin? Well, there were some signs that we were due to cool down a bit, at least retrace a tad. We had some bearish divergence on the daily, and then on the break of this ascending support, we did see a clear reaction. Look at where we touched and bounced. We bounced literally at that 50 MA that I mentioned at about 92,000. This is going to be an important level. If we retrace, 92,000 will be important to hold. It's also a bouncing off point and a breakout point. So this is an important level, 92,000. This is also, of course, where our 50 MA is. There's a possibility that we at least stay over it, but kind of trade a little sideways for a while and fill out this broadening pattern here that we've been filling out. For a short period, we were just following this little trend here until we broke down from it. Looks like we're starting a new trend potentially. It might take a couple days to see a clear trend. I want to show you something interesting on the hourly. It's only the hourly. It's not as significant as such as a bearish divergence on the daily like we saw a few days ago. But look at this. We do have a bullish RSI divergence. The price is still dropping, but the RSI starting to rise. This may be an indication of bottoming out here. And that was right at that test of the 50 MA as well. There's definitely going to be buy orders right around the 50 MA. People are taking it as a dip buy opportunity. Not saying we don't drop more than that, but there are definitely buyers ready to step in at 92,000. Hopefully there's enough to keep up. And looking at Ethereum, it has a similar chart setup. We did see bearish divergence. The RSI was starting to cool down. While the price was still rising, we did get a break of this pattern, this rising wedge. And it does look like Ethereum's trying to hold at its 50 MA. It did come down and almost test its 200. You could call that a test, I guess. But here's something interesting. Ethereum flashed a golden cross just about a week, 2 weeks ago. And one thing I want to show you here with ETH is we are starting to see a bullish divergence there as well. The RSI is trying to maintain a certain level, trying to stay flat at least for the most part. Especially the last two drops. This one's a little higher up. But these two drops are pretty much neck and neck. But we have the price still coming down. And of course, the psychological 3,000, we did test that level. I do think buyers are ready to start picking up Ethereum. I think there's a good possibility we bounce on that 50 and 200 MA, and we kind of start playing this pattern out, and then it'll be important to hold this ascending support if we do start reacting on it. But keep an eye on this ascending channel. Maybe we start filling this out, maybe not. I do still see ETH going to $8,000 to $10,000 before we peak, and our crypto winter low could be right around where we are here. Right around $3,000 is where I think Ethereum's crypto winter low will be, because I'll show you guys this long-term, very, very long-term pattern that Ethereum has been riding since 2020. So I don't think there's another crypto that has a similar pattern like this. We utilize this as support for what, 4 or 5 years now. I do think when we approach crypto winter after our run to $8,000 to $10,000, this is just my prediction, it might be wrong, after our run to $8,000 to $10,000, getting up towards the end of 2025, we start cooling down in 2026. We hit a bottom, a crypto winter low of somewhere around the low threes. Great chance to load back in and get ready for the next cycle. And here's a prediction for Bitcoin. I'm still eyeing $150,000 Bitcoin. I think that's more than reasonable. I think 250 might be too optimistic, but you never know. My call is $150,000 Bitcoin. We are going to, at the very least, reach $150,000 Bitcoin this cycle before cooling down, and perhaps our next bear market low is somewhere in the 60,000s. Now, why I say that is because we have done something similar in past cycles. We run, like let's look at the 2020 cycle. We were down under roughly 15, 20,000 for quite a while before we finally broke out. We broke our previous cycle top at about 19, 20,000, and then we went parabolic. We slightly broke under that $19,000, $20,000 past cycle top. We went down to a $15,000. That was our crypto winter low in 2022 of $15,000. Our cycle top in the 2020 cycle in 2021 was 69,000. I think we're going to end up next cycle low somewhere around 70 to 50,000 if the pass is any indication, if we utilize our previous peak of last cycle as somewhat of a bear market support. But what do you guys think is going to happen with Bitcoin? Where do we top out at this cycle? Or did we already top out in your opinion? Also, where do you think Ethereum is going this cycle? In my opinion, next crypto winter low, we will definitely be lower than these current prices, but by how much? You have to think, when we top out, say we top out at 150,000, we have a pullback. A 50% pullback would bring us to $75,000. Bitcoin in its last cycle had about a 76% pullback. A 70-something% pullback would put us down into the 40,000s or so. And that is, of course, a 70-something% pullback from 150,000. A nearly 70% pullback from 200,000 brings us right into the 60,000 range. So perhaps we top out 150,000, 200,000, have roughly a 50 to 70% pullback, and we end up back in the 40,000s to 60,000s next crypto winter. things to think about. I know I tend to get way ahead of myself, but I like looking ahead. I like looking past this cycle. Where are we going next? Where are we going after we top out? Where's the next crypto winter going to be? But thanks as always, guys. Hopefully you have a decent Friday. Hopefully we continue to end this week on a positive note, at least, even though it was still pretty negative in reality. In the end, stay positive, follow Bitcoin cycle, and life is easy.